What's up, everybody? It's another morning. I am about to go to the gym once again. It's Wednesday the 24th, January 24th. But let me show you guys how I start the car. So, like I said in other videos, this is a manual car. Ignore the cable, that's for my aux. But let's see if you can see. So, there's 3 pedals, as you can see. There's the clutch, there's the brake, and then there's the gas right here. So all you do to turn it on is left foot on the clutch all the way in, and you put your foot on the right foot on the brake just so it doesn't move. And then this is a push start, so meanwhile that's happening down there, you just let it warm up. But also, this is in first gear, just force of habit, but you want to leave it in neutral. Neutral is basically when it's wobbly. There's nothing going on, so that's neutral. And then, like I said, we have our e-brake, emergency brake. This is always put on when you're parked, of course, but this is a hand brake, so let it warm up for a bit. Gotta put on my seat belt. They say safety first. Safety's always first. I'm trying to find out new playlists to listen to, so I've been kind of listening to the same ones. I have a whole playlist on Spotify of liked music, I have liked, but I kind of want to organize them, so when you're feeling kind of inspired, I don't know if you can hear it. Just to make your life a bit cinematic, But alright, so I'm about to start driving. I think the car's fully warmed up. So as you see, the needle dropped down to 1 RPMs, or 1000 RPM. So yeah, that means it's almost warmed up. So since it's in neutral already, and the parking brake is on, I could let go of both clutch and the brake, and I'm not moving. I'm still parked. I'm still stopped. But now that we want to move, so again, foot on brake, clutch all the way in, and then put it in first gear, which is left, slightly up. That's first gear. We remove the e-brake, and then now we're ready to move. So gently let go of the right foot. Oh, and also don't forget to turn on your lights in the rain. Alright, now we check both ways to make sure everything's good. And we're off. We're off to the gym. But yeah, man, it's been a good morning. Everything's been going well. It's been raining still, so we don't have as much work. Because right now the main people we work with is installing windows and doors. And so because of this rainy season, nobody really wants, to have their windows replaced, because, rain and mud and all that's gonna get in, and all the sawdust from, cutting wood. So, yeah, I think right now we're just kind of going through a moment of just, no work for a bit. And I mean, it's fine. Like I said, I have faith in God. I trust in God. When I was going through decisions through different jobs, because right after right after I graduated college, that's when COVID hit. So I got into the drilling company here in Antioch. I got in as a mechanical engineer, supposedly, which when I got in there, everything seemed like cool, right? Because there's a lot of machinery, there's a lot of gears, of like welding, mechanics, cylinders and all this cool stuff. But at the moment, I was freshly graduated from college, and I never really had a real job, I didn't know what to expect from like a boss, from a manager, like weekly pay or bi-weekly pay. I didn't know what to expect, what was a good amount of pay, what wasn't. And so I was just kind of lost and just kind of floating. I had a boss, of course, right? But um, he was always busy. He was in and out in different states because they're pretty big. I don't really think I had a supervisor or manager, and if I did, they never really presented themselves to me as that. I mean, they told me to kind of work on some stuff, just learn how to design 3D models using the software, and I mean it was dope, except like I had no sense of direction. Like, what am I doing with this? What can I do? What can I help with? And so everybody was in their own world doing their own thing. I feel like they thought I was too young to help with anything, or I didn't have enough knowledge to help with anything, so they never really took me serious. And so I tried my best, to do as much as I could and learn as much as I could, but nobody was really kind of there to help me out. So then eventually later on, I mean, the environment itself was a bit bad. I don't want to say too much, but got to a point where I didn't want to go to work anymore. But I mean, I went just because, it is work. Up until I got let go, 10 months in, they said, they didn't really find much use for me anymore and all this, and so they had to let me go. And I was like, it's all right, man. I mean, thank you for having me and all that. And so I was jobless for a bit, and then later on, you kind of get desperate and you just want to start, applying in places, and you're not patient because, when you get let go, you're just like, oh snap, what's gonna happen? I'm not making any more money. I'm not going to work every day. Like, what was the plan for the day of tomorrow? Because you're kind of used to a routine of going up to work, waking up early, doing, work, and then coming back home and all that. And so I went back to my dad. My dad was always the backup if I didn't have, well, because I started working with my dad at a young age. I think at 12 he started taking us to work, whether it was during the summers or weekends. We were always helping him out with remodeling houses, whatever projects he had with clients. So yeah, we started at a young age as Hispanics, because I'm pretty sure that's a common thing in the Hispanic community or culture. So my dad was always the kind of person I could rely on if I didn't have work, right? I mean, although with my dad I wasn't getting paid much, right? It was like minimum wage. But I mean, at least I was making something, and so kept, job hunting, applying everywhere, all these websites. Because again, COVID was pretty bad for me. COVID hit in my last year of college, of university. So I was already kind of, trying to get internships and leaving all these internships for my senior year, so I could have, this experience and just get ready to get into the field, work life after graduation. But there was no graduation. I mean, there was, but it was kind of virtually online. I never really walked the stage, which I kind of am bummed out about, but it's all right. I am the first one to graduate from a 4-year though. I kept going to make my parents proud, and after that job that I got let go of, from the drilling company. So, okay, in the work world, there's also these companies, they're third-party companies, I think, where, so let's say there's this business or this company that needs workers, right? A large amount of workers for like simple tasks, but they make it look like it's something pretty unique, something exciting and all this stuff. And so they have these third-party businesses that are kind of like recruiters in a sense. Like, they're the ones that go out looking for candidates to hire for these large quantity of positions I need filled. And so I got reached out by one of these third-party companies, I think that's how you say it. And so they were like, hey, we see your resume, we see that you got good qualities and all this stuff, and we see that you like to work hands-on and all this, and so would you be interested in this position? And so they made it sound like it was a super cool lab job where I could work with my hands and do all this stuff and make devices and products and assemble all these things together. And I was like, dang, that sounds pretty nice, like, sure, why not? So they kind of got me all excited and juiced and all this. And so I said, yeah, why not? They scheduled me for an interview with the people or whoever's going to interview me for that company. Yeah, I think I went to 2 rounds of interviews or 3 rounds, I think. Yeah, basically they made it seem like it was this lab job and all this stuff, but once I got in and I got accepted, for a second also kind of, to me, I was like, I think I kind of got in way too easy. I wasn't really that good in my interview. I mean, I don't know. it was all right, right? I didn't really have much experience interviewing. When I got there, they got me a computer and everything, and it was this office job, and so there's reports and stuff, and you need to kind of revise them, make sure they're done properly, that there's no mistakes, you know, like misspelled words or whatever. And it's just like you get a batch of reports, and then you have to complete a certain amount by the end of the day. And so you kind of just do this routine every single day, kind of get to the point where you kind of want to finish, like you kind of start setting challenges, or I don't know, right? Break records of how many I can complete in a day. And so you start trying to do them as fast as you can. And so it was like that, right? I just kind of liked it as well, just because it was chill in a sense. You could work from home from time to time, but then again, like I got comfortable. I forgot, you know, what I wanted to do with my life, what type of work I wanted to do. And also, like, you know, it was competitive to get into things that I wanted to do. And I thought that this was a step towards, you know, building my way up to that engineering firm, or that position where I could, like, let's say, put some robot together. Or because for me, I had a passion for like drones and aviation and robots and like machine work and all this stuff, machinery. But then as you start kind of getting into the field, like you kind of start paying attention of who gets paid more, who does less work, you know, all these factors to different positions and stuff like that. It's like, and it's not to kind of, you know, discourage anybody, but when you're going through school and the university, I feel like the system has kind of changed, because back then I'm pretty sure by having a degree, whether it's a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, pretty sure it was like easier to get a job, to land a job, you know. But nowadays, it's like that's not enough. That's just the basics. And now I feel like the world is changing in that sense. Because I mean, I have my degree, and I thought, you know, all these doors would open up, but nothing was really opening up. And it just wasn't me. There was like many more friends that I knew that were going through the same situations, but the ones that were able to make it into, like, you know, big companies or, you know, good paying positions was because they had somebody they knew on the inside, you know. And so they had connections, they had people to help them get in. And so while I was observing that, I was like, man, so we got to a world where that's kind of the only way in, right? It's not about what you know, about what experience you have, but now it's more about who you know and how they can get you in. But that's at least from my experience, you know. Maybe others might have different experiences. After this job, I think I was there almost a year, right? And I stayed there for almost a year because they said I was gonna get a raise after the year. You know, I was gonna, after a certain amount of time, my contract with the third party was gonna end, and I was gonna, you know, get fully converted into this company, so get the company's full benefits, not just the third party's, you know, limited benefits or whatever they had to offer, but the real company's, you know, benefits, the pay, you know, because when I was working with that third party, they were taking a percentage of my paycheck, so I wasn't getting paid enough, right? I was supposed to get paid 25 hourly, but with that pay cut, I was getting paid like 20, I think, hourly or whatever, because you have to pay them a percentage from your paycheck, I guess, since they got you the job. And so, yeah, once I got close to the 1 year, they're like, oh, we're just gonna keep extending, you know, your contract and all that. And I was like, come on, man. I kind of wanted, you know, to get a raise or a better pay. And so then I kept applying, and I found another job, which again, it kind of was through another third party, but this time I was like, in the interview, you know, I want to ask for more money, so then if I do get a pay cut, I'll kind of, you know, get more than what I'm making here in this current position. And so yeah, that's what I did. And this one was also, you know, pretty hyped up, and it was talking about, you know, x-ray machines and how this is the new generation, the new models, and these are all over the universities, and, you know, scientists kind of have these. And so they made the product look cool, which it was pretty dope, right? And so, you know, I went through the interview process. I got in as well. I think that was also like 3 interviews. Once I got into the job, and at the time I was also going through some stuff personally. So it was kind of like some tough moments for me. And so I was kind of trying to get a job that would kind of take my mind off of things. And so when I got there, this one was a lab job. but it was a type of job where you're just sitting in one place and doing the exact same thing all over again, and it's like even more simpler, right? So if you're the guy to like put in the screws on the machine, that's your only job. You're just putting in the screws, and that's all you're doing for different machines that they have. Of those X-ray machines, I think inside the lab they have like a good 10 to 15. And so you're doing the exact same thing for each of these, and you're kind of just one person in one station, and then once you finish your procedure, you pass it on to the next person, and then they do their procedure, and it's just the whole thing, right? So this job only lasted 4 days because that week, Monday was a holiday, and so I started on a Tuesday, I think, and yeah, that Friday I had enough. I was like, I can't do this no more. My mind's going crazy. Like, I'm mentally not right. Like, my mental health is not good. And just kind of being stuck in this lab for 8 hours a day. And, you know, when you try to socialize with people, like in that place, not everybody is social. They're kind of to themselves. And when it's like a lunch break, like they want to do their own thing. So they go to their cars and then they don't want to socialize, basically, right? And I kind of felt, you know, like, what am I doing here? Like, if I come to a job, you know, it's kind of to learn, to kind of make friends, to, you know. So once I started, you know, seeing things, and I just started observing how I was feeling. And also at the time, like, I want to say I wasn't really spiritually mature, so there was a lot going on. I didn't really rely on God. I was just kind of going through life just because, with my own strength and all that. Yeah, it got pretty bad. So then after that, I was like, you know, I quit. I went and talked to the manager. I was like, hey, can I speak to you and stuff? And so my excuse to quit was like, hey, so, you know, my dad's kind of going through, you know, work by himself because he doesn't have any more. Because he used to have helpers, but then, you know, they come and they go. And so I was like, I don't know, I just, okay. So before that decision I made, so I started on Tuesday. Like, I just started seeing everything. Like, I was getting used to everything, but then it got kind of boring and repetitive by like Wednesday, Thursday. And then when I got in on Friday, I was kind of like, hopefully, you know, things change, because things are already slow as it is. And when I got in on Friday, I was like, hopefully there's more action, right? But when I got there, they're like, hey, you know, today's gonna be an easy day. And I was like, but these last few days have been easy days. Like, what are you talking about, right? So it was even gonna be even slower. And so, yeah, on my break, I would call my dad, and I was like, hey, Dad, like, you know, this is going on. They're paying good here, but I can't do this anymore. Like, I just can't. I don't think I'm fit for this routine-ish type of work. Like, I need to see something different. I need to do something different. I need to, like, go out. I need to, like, work with my hands. I need to put my brain to work, because, like, everything that I'm doing is for robots, kind of, in a sense, right? You're just doing the same thing, and it's nothing different. He understood, because he kind of went through the same thing as a younger person, going through different jobs, and he used to work at I think warehouses where they did machinery work, but also it was the same thing. You're just at one station and you're doing the same thing every single day for many years. Yeah, because I've seen people there, and I talked to them and I asked them how long they've been there. They're like, you know, I've been here for 10 plus years, probably 15. And it was almost the same thing. I was like, man, like, you guys don't get bored of this? Like, you know? And for them, it's easy, right? So I'm saying some people could do it, but for me, I just couldn't. I needed to do something else. And so, although it was paying all right, better than my last job, um, it just wasn't for me. So I quit. I told them I need to quit. And so then when I was going home, like, I was just like, all right, God, this feels good, right? I feel free now. Like, I feel like I can do whatever I want. So in a sense, it was a bit reckless of me. But then again, I was like, I need a plan. And I know my dad always wanted, you know, to start a business with the company, you know, the construction company he has. I mean, it's nothing official, right? But we've talked about it many times. And yeah, well, I was also in that drilling company at the time, and I was getting frustrated and I wanted to quit as well. I called my dad because I knew he wanted to, you know, make a business. I was like, what do you think about us starting the business right now? Because I was gonna quit as well, that job, but they advised me to stay because, you know, it was a good company and all that. And I was like, all right. So yeah, on that way home after I quit this job, I was just planning in my head. I was like, all right, what do we need to do to start this business? What can we do? Um, let's start getting things rolling and stuff. And so that's where everything kind of started. And so, yeah, I went back with my dad, but now not with the mentality of a helper, but more of like, all right, let's partner up. Let's make this business happen. Let's make this idea, this dream that you have, a reality. Let me go get my license and all these things. And it's easier said than done, right? Because to get this license, there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of steps, there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of research that needs to be done just to make sure you do everything right. And so, yeah, that's where we are at now, and I'm at peace, if I'm being honest. Like, it may not be paying the best, and like right now, we kind of have these seasons of no work, no job, but that's where my dependence on God is at, my faith in God. Because what we do, like, when I do go to work, yes, it might be more laborious work, probably beating your body up a couple times, probably you hammer your finger, you get a little accident or something, and we've had a lot of accidents. We'll probably talk about those later. It's a job that makes me feel accomplished, right? Because I love to see a process from beginning to end, like to see how things get done. Like installing windows, right? Your house looks like a certain way with like, the old type of windows, but once you put in new windows, you're like, oh snap, it has a new look, a new style to it, right? Or when you paint, the house a different color, whether it be the kitchen, whether it be the living room, and all these things, and just see the designs being upgraded and stuff. So I like that. And so I think with this license, it'll probably be bigger projects, probably more commercial projects. It might not just only be residential, but more commercial, to like stores, to buildings. I don't know, right? But it's exciting. It's exciting. I mean, it is a lot of responsibility, and it is intimidating, to see all this paperwork and all this like official stuff that you need to go through. But like I said, I have faith in God and I trust in Him, and there's a reason why He allowed me to go through all this and be where I'm at now. And being with my dad as well, a big thing that I love is the flexibility, right? There's mission trips now, and I love mission trips. I want to involve myself in all these mission trips. Like, I have that freedom to get those days and go on these mission trips, and then I just share them pictures and videos. I love that my dad is kind of my boss in a sense, because it's like a father-son relationship, but it's also like a partnership. Like, we could talk to each other about many things and stuff like that. So God has definitely blessed me with some amazing parents. Even though there are times, where it does get a little difficult and everybody has their opinions or, things to say, right? But God knows what He's doing, and we're all human. We're all human. We're all still learning and maturing and growing. But yeah, if, there's anybody out there going through something like this, just know, God is going to bless you. It does take time. It does take patience. It does take faith and dependence on Him. Like I said, you might be going through a storm, but there is going to be an end to that storm pretty soon. You just got to keep going strong. Don't give up. You should never give up, or giving up should never be an option, right? But there should be surrender. There's a difference between giving up and surrender. Surrender to God so that He can continue, working in you. But never give up, never, give up on life, give up on your dreams or your hopes, right? Always put everything and surrender everything to God. Well, God bless you guys. I'm gonna go to the gym, try to do something because my leg's kind of injured, but we'll try to do upper body work. And yeah, may God bless you guys, and we'll see when we post another one.